Welcome, welcome. This is Dr. Zoila. I am your host, and this is Two Kids, One Doctorate. This month, I am running a series where I'm interviewing single moms and asking them all of them the same five questions, so that we can hear from their experiences from their point of view. Today, we have with us Meka Flowers. She is
Hey,
a mom of three. She is an author. She's also a podcaster, a YouTuber, a self-love coach, a wellness strategist, and an herbalist. So welcome, Mika. Thank you for being
hey,
here.
no problem.
Yes, girl,
Glad to be
love all
here.
the things you're doing, just like a single mom would, okay? We can do all things.
Right, right. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yes. So let's get right into these questions. Can you share a pivotal moment in your journey as a single mother that shaped who you are today?
I could say a pivotal moment as a single mother would have been stop thinking that you're not enough for them and that you don't have to, because they got so much with the masculine and the feminine. You don't have to think that you have to fill that void if they have that void, even though they do talk to their father and stuff like that. But it's like, these my kids, they with me all the time. So it's like, you don't have to feel like you have to fill that void.
Yeah, I love that. So when did you kind of understand that? You understood it as you were experiencing parenting, where you were
I
like, you
think
know what, I'm trying too hard to fill in this void and
the
it's not even
more I
necessary.
started looking at my mother and how she was a single mom and how she never tried to fill that void. She was just a mom. Like she would say, like people would say to her, happy Father's Day. And she was like, I'm not a father. I'm a mother. I'm not a father. I don't want to be a father. I'm a mother. So once you get it in your head, like you're the mother, like at the end of the day, even if you're with the father married, you're the mother. They have a saying, what did they say? Mommy's baby, daddy's maybe. Like at the end of the day, you're mom. You're the one they always come to. You're the one they're always looking for. You're the one where they're like, wait, where is she? She's not. Is she in the bathroom? Oh yeah, she's in the bathroom. Let me go bother her. Like those are your children because you were so connected to them. Not saying that the fathers are not connected to their children, but you held them before you held them, So it's like those your babies. So it was just like these my babies. Like I tell people all the time, like these are my little friends now. They're my little friends. Like
They're my little buddies. I love it. And
they're my little.
they do become that because they're with you all the time. So
Mhm.
your relationship with them is so much more special, and you're the only person in the house too. So, it does create kind of like a different synergy.
And that's the thing, like, but I wasn't always the only person in the house, but they still treated me like like I remember one time I
Absolutely.
was in the shower and my oldest came and she brought me a jar and she's like, "Can you open this?" And I'm like, "You walk past the person that has more upper body strength than I do. Like, why would you?" And I'm in the shower. Like, I'm
Please.
like,
Love it, love it. Oh my goodness. What have been some of your biggest challenges and how have you learned to navigate them?
biggest challenges. I would say they're pretty easy kids, but my biggest challenge was working and really not wanting to work and rather being home with them, especially when they were smaller. And I remember one time I was working a job and I got out at like 2 o'clock and I would go pick my daughter up. And then I I found another job and I was working till like 5 o'clock. Up north at 5 o'clock in the winter, it's dark. It's like pitch black.
Yep,
Like,
it's nighttime. It's 9 p.m.
and she was like, I she said, "You left me here overnight." She was like 3. She was at the Y. She was like, "You left me here overnight." And it was so like hard for me to like leave her every day. And then I ended up like a couple of months later, I got fired from that job. And I was like, I got to stay home with her.
She better never say you left her overnight anywhere after that.
She's like, "You left me here." So my hardest thing was working and wanting to be home with them, like feeling like like this is not normal. You should be home with your children. But now
Mm-hmm.
everybody's older now, so it's a lot easier, but still it's like that, I'm somebody sick, you gotta stay home. When I just feel like why like why does it have to be like so hard? Like
Right, right. It is a lot to manage.
mhm,
These are little humans we have to keep alive and well and fed.
right.
Um, so that leads into my next section. I know, your two first answers definitely led to their need of us, right? Needing
Hmm.
us. So how
Hmm.
do you balance your self-care, your work, and your parenting? And what advice
Some
would you give to other single moms trying to do the same?
I would say to a single mom trying to do the same. When they're younger, it's gonna be harder. Gonna be harder. So incorporate your village. Don't think, because some people some people don't want to leave their kids with people because they think, oh, they're mean. They're not gonna let them do this. And sometimes people are not just mean, they're just firm. They're not gonna play around with your kids. They're not going to let your kids do whatever they want. You might let them jump on a couch at home, but they're not gonna let them do that. They got boundaries, they got structure at the house. And that's fine. As long as your child is safe. They're safe mentally, they're safe physically, as long as they're safe. Sometimes you got to incorporate the village. Because I think a lot of times people just think, oh, this is my child. This is just me and the child. But sometimes the village wants to help, but you won't let them. So incorporate your village. Think about the people that are going to be safe with your child. I'm not saying like you just got a 2-week-old baby and you just dropped the baby. No, like when they start talking and they're walking more and they can use the bathroom on their own, incorporate the village more. When it comes to work, it's just I worked in the school system for so long. So when they were off in the summer, I was off. Any days they had off, I was off. So working in the school system definitely helped. And when it comes to parenting, it's just you just roll with the punches. Especially if you got more than one kid, because
Mhm.
you're not gonna be everything for everybody all the time because you're
Mm-mm.
stretched because you have more than one child. So it's just trying to make sure you're giving each one of them the time that they need.
Mhm.
Like my oldest
Absolutely.
now, she's 21. She'll be 22 next month. So she's gone. She has friends. She's out and about. But when she wants to come talk to me, at 10 o'clock at night when I'm ready to feel bad, like I give her that time because that's and then now she's back home from college. So she's here for, you go right back. But I wasn't
Mhm.
seeing her every day.
Right. You give her that time.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes it's even more special when you haven't seen them in a while, and then you just want to spend all the time with them, right? Because you're like,
Right,
oh my
right,
God, where have
right,
you been?
right.
Um, and did you talk about self-care?
Did I talk about self-care? I did not talk about
Okay,
self-care.
exactly.
I
See, you're a mom. I see what you were trying to do there. You were trying
I
to,
did not talk
skip
about self-care.
over
And
that.
sometimes I think with the whole self-care thing, they think self-care is just, go slather a mask on your face or go do a deep conditioning in your hair. Sometimes self-care is taking a nap. Sometimes self-care is saying, hey, we're all taking a nap. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's taking a nap right now. Everybody go lay down. It's quiet time right now.
Right. Even though they're older, you're still like,
Right.
nah, everybody go.
Like everybody, come on now. You're too loud. We need to be quiet. Like this is quiet time now. Sometimes, especially with them being older, like it's easier for me to go take a nap right now. Like right now, it's 6:31. When we get off here, I'm going to sleep.
Good.
I'm going to tell everybody I'm going to sleep. Like,
Good. Hell yes, of course. I
they can
agree with
feed
that.
themselves. They can, they can use the stove.
Right? That my
They're
kids are
hungry.
close to that age too. Right. I
Right.
keep the fridge stacked with yogurt and fruits and the fruit
Mhm.
basket. I'm like, there's vegetables, fruit, and yogurt and milk and
Right.
cereal. And you got
Right.
this. You got
You figure
this.
something out.
Yeah.
There's leftovers.
All that too. Microwave works and y'all know how to get to it.
Right.
So you would say that that's part of the advice you would give other mothers that might be kind of struggling with that, finding that balance, even the guilt, right? Letting go of the guilt of like I'm
Mhm.
gonna go to sleep, I'm gonna take a nap, or trusting your village, right? Because
Right.
for me it's a matter of trust and trusting other
Mhm.
people with my kids, not even now, and now they're older, they're just so much more independent. I don't need the village as much, but when they were
Mm,
younger, it was really hard for me to trust other people. Um, and that can just connect it to other stuff. But
yeah.
what advice would you give other single moms that are probably like, how the heck? Maybe they just became a single mom and they're overwhelmed with everything.
I mean, if you're overwhelmed with it, you got to learn how to regulate your nervous system. You got to know how to take them deep breaths. You can do it. Like moms have been
Absolutely.
doing it for years. You can do it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the end of the world. Because at this point, like we were talking about before, being a what do they call it with the single moms? They're wives, but they feel like single moms. Like you could have a body in the
Yes.
house and still feel like you're alone. So you
Yes.
can do this. You just have to learn how to. You just got to keep telling yourself, it's not always going to be like this because they're going to grow up. They're going to go. They're going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to get it in your mind that I can do this. And like I said, like trust in the village. Like you said, you didn't trust people, but if you have people that you can trust, you gotta give some of that trust and say, okay, I gotta trust these people because
Yeah.
now I'm by myself. Because I hear a lot of moms who are single moms and they're like, well, I don't have a village. I don't have a village. The village might not be your family.
Yeah, right.
It might not be them.
It might be
It
the
might,
daycare lady, it might
right,
be another parent, it might be a
right,
neighbor. Yep,
right. It
absolutely
might
agree.
not be your family. So you
Mhm.
need to understand too that it's not always going to be who you think. It's not. A lot of times people think certain people should step up, and at the same time, a lot of people that don't step up when they know they can, they don't step up because they probably think you can handle because
Mhm.
they think you're strong. And there's this like this whole stigma of being strong, be strong, and sometimes you're going to break, and that's fine, but you can't
Mhm.
stay because at the end of the day, you got this little person looking up at you.
Absolutely.
So go cry in the shower, wipe your face, journal through it, talk yourself through it,
And
and you
get
got to
back
just,
to it.
yeah. Because at the end of
Mhm.
the day, who else is going to do it? Nobody's going to take
Right.
better care of them than you.
Absolutely. That's great.
So,
Thank you for that, Mika. And but going to that next question, what misconceptions would you say people have about single motherhood, and what would you like to say to shift those narratives?
I think some misconceptions that they have about single mothers is that they want to be a single mother. Nobody goes into this. There might be some,
Right.
but
Mhm.
nobody really goes into this thinking, I'm going to be a single mom. And that whole misconception makes people think that, like I said, they think you're strong, you don't need help. And it's like, no, everybody needs help. Even if you don't have kids, there are times when you're probably broken too and you need help, you need somebody to talk to. So thinking that just because someone's a single mother, they don't always, everybody didn't want to be a single mother.
Mhm.
Everybody didn't see it playing out like this. Everybody
Absolutely.
didn't, some people they get married and they're married for all these years, and then all of a sudden the husband leaves after they get pregnant. It's like, now I'm a single mother. Now it's not, it's not what people think. It's like,
Absolutely. That's a big misconception that you were, or that often you are a single mom, you had maybe a child out of wedlock, and
mhm,
you're like, I was married and I just, and then I
right,
expected the dad to be a dad, and we never co-parented. So that's a truth right there.
right.
So thank
And
you
that's
for
why I tell
sharing
people
that.
sometimes everybody's not a single mother. Sometimes people are single women,
Mm-hmm.
but they're
Mm-hmm.
co-parenting. And I know
There
people,
it
the
is.
the kids they switch. Like one week the father have them for 4 days, the next week the mother have them for 4 days. So everybody's not a single mother,
Mm-hmm.
even though they want to say, I'm a
Let's talk
single,
about it.
but they're not.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I've been there's a few guests that have kind of like challenged my perspective. Not they haven't intentionally challenged it, but I think I've been thinking about their experiences and how I identify as a single mom. And there's
Mhm,
this, understanding among some folks, some women that identify single moms, that even if they're co-parenting, There might be
Mhm.
some things that they're doing more of than the other parents, so then they're single parents,
Mhm.
or they have a spouse in the house, or the child goes home, so it's just a way. It's kind of softened me a little bit, because before I was like, well, you got this, right? Is someone
Mhm.
financially helping you? Is someone having your kids on the weekends? So are
Right.
you really single parent? You know what I mean?
Right.
So now I'm like, okay, I see how there's just different people identify
Different
different within
different
that
levels
term.
to it, I guess.
Right, there's different levels to it, right? Like, for
Mhm.
example, I have my mom that helps me. There's women that don't have family members at all, right, to help them through it. So it's just like,
Right.
whew, it's been a lot.
Right. Right. And that's why I was like, there's different there's different
Mhm.
modes to it. Like different
Yes.
things to it. Like you had your mother, I had my mother. My mother was very
Right.
much like a pivotal role in their lives. Like so when I lost my mother, it was like they lost their grandmother. Like they
Right.
seen her
Right.
every day, just about. Like my mother was always at my house. So it was kind of
Mhm.
like, she was my village. And then it was like,
Mm.
I said to my brother the other day, my brother, he doesn't live in here anymore. And I was saying to him, I was like, I haven't shipped these kids off since 2022.
They haven't left my house. They're still
I'm
here.
like, I haven't shipped these kids off.
Mhm. I
I'm
wish
like,
I
well, they
could
went around the corner to my niece's house, but she's gone now.
Yes, you're like, there's nowhere they can just go for the weekend. They're always
I'm,
here.
I'm like, so. And then he's like, well, maybe they could come down here for a week.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, make that 2 weeks.
I'm
My
like, okay.
goodness. Yeah. I'll send them somewhere. So, Mika, tell me what legacy or values you're most intentional about passing on to your children.
Hmm. I want to say for values, I definitely want to pass on not this whole work hard, like work hard. You got to work hard, do this. You got to work hard. And it's just like, no, work smarter, not harder. And I also want to pass on the legacy of taking care of your health because so many people in my family have passed from, I probably can count 10 people in my family that passed from cancer or some kind of disease. So really taking care of your body so your body later on can take care of you. Because I don't even know too many people in my family that made it until their 70s because somebody had cancer or somebody had something going on. So it's like, yeah, you want legacy to be like when people talk about legacy, they're always talking about, I want to be remembered for this, I want to be remembered for that. I want you to remember that you need to take care of your body so your body can take care of you. Because it all starts there in the mind, especially. When you eat crappy, you think crappy. So like that's one of the main things. And like I said, work smarter, not harder, because these people will work you to death and you die and they don't even care. So
And then the end.
the end, the end, the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. So take care of your body is so key and important, and something that they've watched you do, right? It's not something you're saying, you're
Right.
practicing it and they're seeing it, because and sometimes that's the lesson is learned like that, rather than you like, you should be
Mm,
eating better, but you're eating a
right.
dozen cookies, in one sit down.
Right.
So they're seeing you practice, and they probably also saw you shift, right? When you started shifting your
And they're like,
eating
why
and
do we
your
got to do
care.
this? Why are we eating this?
Yeah, and then you're vegan, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, so they
Yep.
they started seeing,
Right.
and even if now they don't see it as a benefit, I'm sure down the line they'll be like, "Ooh, I've had to take the vegetables and the side of fries."
Right. Right.
So that's awesome.
And
That's really
also
neat.
teaching them that it's not this all the time. You can have other things, but you just can't have them all the time. Because I know I'm not always going to be around.
Mm-hmm.
So they get their own money. So they can order their own stuff on DoorDash. But I
Right.
want you to think if you're going to do this for 5 nights in a row, how your body's going to feel later.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
how your
Yeah.
face is going to look later.
Yeah. And your body's, yeah, just it's different. It's different. Everything, your health, your organs. So
Right.
I'm glad that's something of value and a legacy that you're gonna leave
Yeah. And
behind for
now,
them.
right. And now that they're older, I'm like, I had cancer at 25. I don't want that for you.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I don't want that for you. It
Yeah.
was not something you would ever like. Cancer is not something you ever want to do in life. Like I don't want that for you.
Mm-mm.
So I'm like,
Mhm.
you can have your junk food, but it ain't gotta be every day.
Mhm.
And only junk food. Like, no, we gotta eat better.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
great. So Mika, thank you so much. As a parting thought, what is something you would tell or last message that you would want to share with single mothers or women or people that are listening to this or watching this video?
I was gonna sound cliche, but it's motherhood is hard. Like, it's hard.
Yes,
But
yes,
you don't have to make it like people like some people say they hate being a mother. And I'm like, it's not bad. like you're gonna have some times where
yes.
you're like, what the hell is wrong with these kids? But at the end of
Mhm.
the day, it does get easier. And you have your moments and you have your times where it's just like, I'm about to leave. But like I said, those are your babies. They're gonna follow you anyway. So
Literally, we'll go find you so you can open up that jar
right.
of whatever it is they need.
Right. So
So it's interesting. They're like, my kids are like, how do I do that? I'm like, guys, think for yourself. If you drop some water, you spill water, what is the next
mhm,
step? Get a mop,
right.
clean it up. Why do I have to think
Something.
for you? You know, like, so I can see
Something.
how they'll be like, mom, they'll just follow you wherever you go, just to.
I
And I mean,
swear, yeah.
I do that with my mom. There's times where I'm like, mom, pick up. Why aren't you picking up? I need to talk to you. You know, I need you for something.
Right,
And
right.
it's usually come get your grandkids. Um, she's like, okay. Well, that's great. Thank you so much, Mika.
No problem.
We appreciate your time. And I'm sure everyone that's going to be listening to the podcast and watching the YouTube video will definitely connect with a lot of the things that you shared. For
Mm.
everyone listening and watching, this is Dr. Zoila Quesada, and I am your host for Two Kids, One Doctorate. Thank you.
Bye, guys.